this is the clock that I'm going to use to make my diorama base. Admittedly, it's a pretty freaking ugly clock. It's horrible. But got it for $6 at a charity shop, and if you remove the back from it, you've got this great plinth. The back itself just unscrewed, and yeah, great plinth. The glass looks relatively watertight. I might do a little caulking just around the edge of it so that my plaster won't dribble through. And yeah, I reckon this top surface is going to work beautifully for a diorama plinth. So after a quick sand, just getting rid of the worst dents and things, you can see a couple there where I've sanded over it. I haven't really gone way down to the perfect wood. We'll see how it works. And then I've got some interior stain, English mahogany. So I'm just going to goop that on with a rag and then leave it overnight. The end result after a bit of staining. So look, it's not perfect, but it doesn't need to be. I quite like the interplay of the old colour wood and the new richer mahogany colour. And tomorrow I will varnish this. So as you can see, after a few coats of varnish, the base has come up looking a lot better. I did a trial run here, just test fitting where everything would go. It's probably a good idea to do a bit of a sketch beforehand on paper if you're also uncertain. But yeah, I always like to do a bit of a dry run just to see where pieces will fit. Then we were ready to do the plastering. So here we are ready to do plastering, mix up the plaster as per the instructions on the bag, and poured the plaster into the top of the clock. So it gave a nice sort of patty shape, try to keep it off the varnish, and then it was a matter of putting the stuff onto the diorama. So as you can see, I've placed the tank, I've placed the pieces, and then I've sprinkled a bit of dirt just from the front, gutter out the front of your house. Nice fine dirt, just sprinkled that on the top layer of the wet plaster. Once that dries, I'll give it a coat of white PVA glue mixed with water, and just seal it in to give texture. I've also pushed the tank in nice and deep. There's nothing worse than a tank that sits on top of the plaster groundwork. You want it in there like it's really got weight. And the pieces of debris, the rusty debris around it, I've also pushed those in so they're sort of half buried. Also pop in your figures at this stage as well. It's looking good. So I've mixed up a mixture of 50% white PVA glue and 50% water, so it's really quite runny. And this is going to be used just to seal in that texture on the surface there. It's going to be messy, but it is quite liquidy so that it really does get stuck in and hold down all that nice texture we've got. We're going to be painting over it anyway, so it doesn't matter what it looks like, doesn't matter if there's white plaster showing through, but yeah, really this just gives us all that nice granular texture. You get the idea. Now to paint the groundwork, I'm mixing up a mix of 4 oil paints. So we've got Van Dyke Brown, Yellow Ochre, Raw Umber, and Lamp Black for the really dark bits. So I'm just going to mix them all up here together with some thinners and just try and get a nice groundy kind of colour. It's completely up to you, total personal preference, and I like to keep it fairly thin just so that it applies a lot more easily to the plaster and it kind of soaks in almost to the plaster. So let's give that a try and see how it looks. The quantities I've used already are quite small. You'll tell straight away that it's not going to be enough, but that's given me my first indication, and yeah, it's okay. It's perhaps not a bit dark enough, but we can tweak around with that. But that's the basic idea on how to paint your groundwork. Just on the last little bit here now, so I'm mixing it up nice and thin, and you can see when you actually put it onto the surface, it really soaks in, and you get this lovely effect of capillary action. Actually does all the painting for you, which is a win. Yeah, just thought you'd like to see how that works. And here it is, my diorama base made out of an old clock. So I've gone around and painted the entire surface. You can see that it's all ready for whatever kind of treatment you want it. So I mean, if you wanted to leave it muddy, bang, you've got it. But I'm going to go ahead and add vegetation and more figures and just develop it from here. But really, that's all there is to it. It's a simple process. Just turn this around a little bit for you so you can see the whole thing. Yeah, simple process, and I guess this illustrates, it's good to keep your eyes peeled and your mind open when you're modelling. $6 wooden base from a thrift shop is the way to do it compared to what this would cost $20, $30, $40 if you bought it on eBay, ready-made. A little bit of work, and I think it actually is better than any kind of base I could have gotten. So I hope this has been helpful. By the way, if you wanted to know how to make the tree, or if you wanted to see any of the progress of the tank, videos of these are all available on my channel and also at my blog, which is davesmodelworkshop.com. I guess that's as good a time as any to sign off. If you do have any questions or queries, please chime in, and yeah, enjoy modelling, keep your eyes open, and chat to you next time. Bye.